We are back at it again on the Angela Davidson Show. Thank you for joining us in the Fish Bowl. Wanted to jump right in. We have a special guest who is very dear to me in Shani Rainey. I wanted to give a quote really quick as before I give Shani the floor and talk about her just for a second. It says, "Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that frightens us most. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and famous? Actually, who are you not to be?" I like this quote by Nelson Mandela because it is an exuberation of who Angela Davidson is and the people that whose lives I touch and those that are around me. And Shani Rainey is very special to me as I met Shani as a 5th or 6th grader and in Allen through the Sports Association, and as I mentioned earlier, as I started in my companies in basketball skill development, she was one of the youngest young people to come to me and get an opportunity to train under my tutelage. She is a full-fledged scholarship recipient to Rice University, and that's not just any university, y'all. That is a very high accredited university academically. Shani is an excellent student. Obviously, you can't even be recruited by Rice University unless your grades are through the roof. And she is in a all pre-prep high school at Lovejoy High School. And I got a chance to see Shani sign her national letter of intent and nearly brought me to tears. I'm gonna make me cry right now. And just to see young people go from one end of their development, from basic to very advanced, and she happens to be very advanced in her skill level on the court. It's just nothing but a miracle of God. And so I want to introduce Shani and let her talk a little bit. Shani, welcome to the show. Thank you, honey, for coming on here. She was like, "Oh my gosh, what are you going to ask me?" And I said, "Girl, you better get ready, because when you get out there and you do your superstar thing at Rice University, you're going to be in front of that microphone." And so tell the audience a little bit about the person, Shani, and then we'll get into the basketball questions and all that good stuff. But just, what do you like to do? Tell us a little bit about Shani. And we have her dad here too. Thank you, Nate, for being here. Shout out to the photographer and videographer filling in for us. Talk about Shani Rainey.
Okay, well, I'm Shani. I have played basketball ever since I think 2nd grade. My mom taught me everything that I learned along with Coach Angela and a few other people. She is probably a lot that I give a lot of the credit to, because without her I would have never started basketball at all, because she was a college athlete through basketball. I lived in Allen, and then I moved out to Fairview to go to Lovejoy, which is where I met some of my best friends that I will have hopefully for the rest of my life, and I just can't wait to pursue the rest of my dreams that I've gotten.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So now tell me, Shani, an entrepreneur is not birth. Not necessarily that you might be an entrepreneur, but they're not birthed overnight, and strong leaders are not just, that just doesn't happen overnight. And you have exuberated that in your effort on the court, your work ethic. Now we'll get to the basketball, like I said again, but tell me, and tell the audience, what are the things that you do at Lovejoy for your leadership or auxiliaries in the community? Are you a part of anything? What do you do to establish leadership, and then what's preparing you for Rice University?
Definitely. So a few of the things that I'm in Lovejoy are the NHS, which is National Honor Society, and PALS, which is by far one of my favorite things that I love to do. As PALS, it's peer assistant leadership and skills, and so it's a group of, it's PALS 1 and PALS 2. In PALS 1, you have to be in start your junior year, and then PALS 2 is the senior year. And so we basically help out with the life skills program, so the special needs program a lot at our school, the middle school, and our elementary school. And during the day, we go over and we're assigned an elementary student who either has trouble with academic or socially, and so they need help. Maybe they're being like socially awkward, so they don't have enough friends and they don't know how to interact with themselves. So we help out with them. And then we also help with Special Olympics. That's by far one of my favorite things to do.
And why is that? Why is that? I didn't get a chance to interact with Special Olympics until I was out of college. But what does that do for your leadership, or even just your perspective? I know it changed my whole perspective of a lot of things. But share a little bit about that.
It definitely taught me how blessed I am as a person and the things I take for granted daily. And I don't know, just seeing those kids like you meet them face to face, and their smile just like brightens up your day, and they'll look at you and they'll just start smiling, and that automatically just brightens it up. And so also it just, I don't know, it helps me. I feel like they help me be a better person, because they teach me like that not everything that you have is given to you and you have to work for it. So
girl, you know that from being in the gym with me. I know
definitely.
You know that. Now, before we get into that, what's your GPA, and what does it take to go to a school like Rice University?
My GPA right now is a 4.0 and I have a 3.98.
Well, you worked that thing out then, didn't you? Student athlete. And for those of you guys that are listening that have athletes, kids that are aspiring even to play, it takes sheer dedication and a tremendous balance. And I commend you, Shani, for maintaining that 3.9. That's no joke. That's a little bit higher than I was. That's pretty good. I like that. So now, let's talk about your training experience. What was it like walking in the gym? I don't even know if you remember walking in the gym as a 5th or 6th grader, and then seeing me then, and what did you expect, or what was that day like? What did Miss Spade tell you? What did your mom tell you where you were going?
Well, she just told me that I was going to go get like better skill, because I was terrified out of my mind, because I had never been coached or taught by anybody except for my mom, because I've been with her 2nd grade through when I met you.
Girl, she did a good job.
Oh gosh, I was panicking beyond belief. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know if you weren't gonna like me. I was like trying to be like the best I could be. It was terrifying, absolutely terrifying. My first day.
Well, I can tell you, and this is an awesome experience for me as I'm towards the end of my physical training tutelage, and as I work only with exclusive members in the community or our student athletes. You, Shani, even from the time you were young, and I had this gift to be able to evaluate a young person in their physical ability pretty quickly, and I was pretty astounded at how long you were, and I could tell already that you were your extremities your athleticism would take you a very long way alone, and all we need to do is just add a couple of skill moves with that. But your length, I've watched you slash through the lane and do some amazing things. I know you've taken your team. Talk about your team, your school team, and some of the things you did with your school team from what you learned on the court.
Okay. Well, definitely my school team in itself is like an adventure. My freshman year, I was one of 4 freshmen on varsity with 8 seniors. So it was very difficult for some of us freshmen, like mashing. We had to prove ourselves worthy. So that in itself was a life experience, because it taught us that you do start from the bottom and you have to prove yourself worthy. And so my sophomore through senior year, basically we were building it up, and we were able. Sophomore year we made it to the playoffs, but we got knocked off the first round. And so from then we tried to build on to keep doing a step further, because we knew it was going to be hard, but we made sure we worked at it.
Very awesome. Now tell me, were there times that you wanted to quit, whether you were with me or in another basketball environment? Were there times that you wanted to quit?
I do. I remember a story very vividly. I think it was midway through our season in 6th grade, and I wasn't really used to dedicating myself solely to basketball. And so that's definitely one thing that you taught me, is that if you want something, you have to put all stuff to risk and work for it.
Absolutely.
And I remember waking up one morning and my mom was like, "Shani, it's time to go to practice." And it was those 8 a.m. practices, and now that doesn't even seem that bad.
Yeah.
But to me as a 6th grader, I was like, "Oh, I don't think I want to do this basketball thing anymore." And it's so hard. It's I never get to hang out with friends or stuff. And she was like, "I promise you, it will pay off." And I'm just glad that she helped me and her and my dad. They're like, "No, it will pay off, and everything will be worth it." So
that's awesome. So so let's talk about, it gets real in the lab with me. So I know that, what did your sports training correlate, how did that correlate to the classroom? And what you were doing in the classroom or in life? What did training do for you?
It definitely taught me time management because I wanted to get better on the court every single day, but I know along with getting better outside the court, you have to, or inside, you have to take care of what happens outside, and if you don't get your grades in check, if you don't have everything outside the lines, then nothing will fall in place for what you want. So if I wanted to excel in basketball or anything, I knew that I had to take care of my grades, I had to take care of like stuff that was going out in order for everything to work.
Very awesome, very awesome. So what is something you can share about your tutelage under me that affects you, or that you can share with other young people that can take their opportunity, whether they're training or have trained with Angela Davidson or any of the trainers that are out there, because I know Dallas is saturated with them. But what did that mean to you?
Well, I can definitely say that there'll never be anyone better than Angela.
I've heard that, girl. Keep it 1,000. Keep it 1,000.
Because you were probably the best thing that ever happened to me because,
thank you, Shani.
like I said, like my mom, I guess I was just like scratching the surface of what I thought basketball was, and then when I got brought into the real world of what it really was, like things can happen in school, but when you go to select, the whole nother level where different athleticism, because you can be an athlete, but being an athlete doesn't get you anywhere because you have to have something that builds you up and that makes you stand out. And so like working with you, I don't know, it like definitely brought the aggression out of me because I was a very like introverted person. I think when I first came to you, and I like, kept to myself. I did what was required. I didn't want to have to do anything more because I didn't want to mess up. But you told me that like messing up is a good thing because then if you're not messing up, then you're not trying hard enough, and you can always learn from those. So I don't know. I was just really excited. Like after I left, like before I came, I was like, I don't think I want to go to practice. It's gonna hurt. But then after I left, I was like, oh no, that was a good practice. I'm glad I went.
That's awesome, and there are going to be many days ahead like that, Shani. There are going to be days where, you know, you're going to be able to hit Coach Angela up, your mom. There will be days like that ahead. I can remember days at Ole Miss and Northwestern State University where I transferred, and shout out to my Lady Demons out there, that I too cried. I too wanted to give up at certain points, but I knew that I was working towards a bright future just like you have, and you know, to give you even some nuggets of wisdom right now today on the show is, when you don't know what to do, I can tell you right now, I know your mom and dad have built a tremendous foundation, and that is to, keep God first. He will be your strength when you feel weak, and just remain balanced. Keep your priorities intact. I can tell you a lot of the girls that came through the program called me a lot of times and said, well, what do you think about me doing this? And I don't think I'm supposed to be doing that. And so those are the things that will help you to maintain a focus, which there's not much room, sad to say, for error at Rice University. They don't play. And so yeah. So now tell me, what are you looking to major in there?
I think I would major in something in the medical field because whenever I was younger, I'd always dreamed of being a vet. But then, like as I got older, I wasn't sure. I was conflicted with being either with animals or humans. So I wanted to either do a veterinarian practice or I wanted to do something with kids. And so now I think I want to be a neonatal nurse, so a baby nurse. So I hope, and I know going to Rice will definitely help me out there.
That is awesome. That is awesome. Now tell me, have you prepared yourself to participate in other auxiliaries to make sure that you're well-rounded, or are you just going to go right in and focus on basketball and your education and not do any other auxiliaries there?
I'm going to try and get as active as I can there. I know basketball does come first. Correction. School comes first, and basketball comes second, but I have to make sure. Yes, school is always the very first thing that needs to be on your list. But I need to make sure that as long as school is intact, then my basketball will be intact, and then I can build on from there.
Very awesome. Very awesome. Now, because I think Miss Rainey, is she a Delta? Oh, Miss Rainey's a Delta. We won't talk about that distraction. I won't coerce it, but I tell you one thing. I know that you will do a phenomenal job there. I know that you will be a great example, whether that is going there and you know, and solely focusing on that, or taking the game to another level like I did, to the professional level, you have it, girl. You have what it takes. Yes. I mean, I've watched you do some very awesome things, and I'm most proud of the young woman you are here today. And just, I don't think I've ever heard you talk that much, and so I'm super excited about that. I know that you're going to be impactful to some of the other young women there. I think I've got a potential intern in Elena Gomes that's going to be your teammate, and yeah, she's a wonderful person, and I know that you're going to put your best foot forward because you obviously you represent God in your family and in the person Shani Rainey. So I appreciate you coming on today, Shani. Oh man, I know this won't be you know, the end. I know that I'll look up and shoot, you'll be done with college and walking across that stage with honors. And so prayers up to you for sure. And I want to now. Do you want to share with anybody your social media, Shani?
Oh, well, of course. So
okay, you can get the followers up, girl.
You can follow me on Twitter or Instagram at ShayRay20. That is SHAYRAY20. So you can follow me on Twitter or Instagram.
That is awesome. Thank you for that, Shani. And now we're going to introduce our next